Hi, dear children. Okay, now we'll discuss the poem Daffodils. Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth, 1770 to 1850. Daffodils by Wordsworth is a poem that celebrates the beauty of nature along with the bliss of solitude. Beauty of nature along with the bliss of solitude. It was first published in poems in two volumes in 1807. The ordinary experience of encountering a crowd of daffodils has been elevated by Wordsworth in this lyrical poem. The imagery of fluttering and dancing daffodils makes the poet feel one with nature, where he finds himself wandering like a cloud and enjoying the beauty of valleys and hills. Okay, do you know what poet? The poet William Wordsworth, who was an early leader of romanticism. Early leader of romanticism. Romanticism, a literary movement that celebrated nature and focused on human emotions. Okay, leader of romanticism in English poetry and ranks as one of the greatest lyric poets in the history of English literature. He was born on April 7, 1770. It was in 1843 he became Britain's poet laureate. He passed away on April 23rd, 1850. Passed away April 23rd, 1850. Okay, the themes of the poem: influence of nature on man, influence of nature on man, and impulse of feeling. Wordsworth is a romantic poet who often celebrate the magical quality of nature in his poems. He has used number of nature images like clouds, lakes, hills, stars, etc. to depict the influence of nature on man. For him, there is nothing which is superior to nature. The poem begins with the poet wandering lonely like a cloud. As soon as he sees the daffodils growing along the margin of a bay, fluttering and dancing, he is captivated by their beauty. Daffodils illustrates Wordsworth's theory of poetic creation. He describes poetry as the spontaneous overflow of emotions recollected in tranquility. Spontaneous overflow of emotions recollected in tranquility. Poetry for him is not dependent upon rhetorical and literary devices, but is the free expression of the poet's thoughts and feelings. Wordsworth developed his passion for nature when he was at a Oxford grammar school. It is at this place that he experienced total freedom with which he roamed the hills and valleys, thus which he was away in noisy and polluted cities. He relied on his memory and reconstructed his experience of his feelings. thus connecting his emotion with the helping of memory of encountering daffodils in 1802. He composed this poem in 1804. Wordsworth studied in Cambridge, visited Europe several times and traveled the parts of England. He wrote poems not only out of his experience, but sometimes borrowing memories from his sisters, that is Dorothy's diary. Dorothy, in her diary, described what she and Wordsworth saw while walking near a lake at Grasmere in England on April 15, 1802. April 15, 1802. The poem thus recaptures the moment from the poet's memory. Okay, discuss the main points. The poet is walking all alone on the countryside. Suddenly he comes upon a stretch of land covered with daffodils. He stands there observing and absorbing the beauty of flowers. Observing and absorbing the beauty of the flowers. He loses himself in Thakaichi and finds himself feeling very joyful. At that point, he does not realize how much the beautiful sight has benefited him. But later, whenever he is lying on his couch, feeling lonely or anxious, he simply remembered the daffodils vividly. He immediately feels very happy and enjoys the company of the daffodils in his solitude. Okay, Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth. Now I read the poem slowly. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poet was walking all alone on the countryside. He says he wandered lonely as a cloud. Wandered means he was roaming aimlessly. Okay, lonely as a cloud. Lonely means sad, being alone, sad. Okay, he felt alone because the death of his brother John. Okay, that floats on high over vales and hills. Vales means valleys, and hills, that is valleys and hills, that is high over the valleys and hills, and as a cloud, that is he is a detached observer. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host welcoming others, okay, of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Okay, in the breeze. You know the meaning of wandered and lonely and fluttering. Vales means valley. Fluttering means moving with quick light movement. Then fluttering and dancing in the breeze. I will explain. The poem begins with poet wandering alone as a cloud. The poet roamed around. The poet roamed around like a cloud, floating over valleys and hills, floating over valleys and hills. It was then that the poet saw a large number of golden daffodils beside the lake. Large number of golden daffodils beside a lake. The daffodils appeared to the poet as fluttering and dancing happily in the breeze. Fluttering and dancing happily in the breeze. Okay, thank you very much.